Okay, I'm from the
We're
West
tapping your experience from.
I am from the West Midlands Pensioners Convention, but I don't want to be sectarian and just talk about pensions and the way it's going to affect, the cuts are going to affect pensioners. I'll just say that the winter fuel allowance is going to be decreased from £250 to £200. If you're 65, if it's 80, then it goes down from 400 to 300. And of course they are going to reduce the pension after next year because they're going to base it on the same criteria on the cost of living, but not against the RPI but the CPI. So effectively, although they're not cutting the pension, they will, because the CPI is invariably lower than the RPI. Having said that, I think we need to understand exactly where all this is coming from. Don't have any illusions. A lot of this is coming from the European Union. Last December, whether you know it or not, we all became citizens of the European Union state, a new state. That's what happened on that day when the Lisbon Treaty was signed and agreed by the Irish in the referendum. We never had one, although we were promised one by Labour, Tory and Lib Dems, but we never had one. Anyway, not to go into that, I just want to say this. If you look at any of the treaties, including the one on the Constitution, which is the Lisbon Treaty, it says open market, free competition and free movement of labour and capital. Capitalism, what we've got here. Now, this government has recently agreed to submit its budgets to the EU for their agreement, for their permission for us to carry it out. You can see what's happening in France, or what's happening in France. You can see what's happening in Spain. You can see what's happening in other countries like Romania, like Greece, and in Ireland. What is happening with these budgets? They're all cuts, cuts, cuts. What we're really facing is a class war where the people, it's people versus the big transnational companies and their backers. That's what it's all about. So we've got to get real. If we're going to actually win, which I think we can, it means that we have to tackle it from that perspective and understanding. Now, having said that, as I say, I think we can win, but we need to know who's on our side and all the rest of it. One of the things I do think is essential, we need a movement of the people, not just the Labour movement, the people, because it's the people that are being attacked. And so therefore, I think we need to consider how we can get all the trade unions and all the political parties, I wouldn't say party against the cuts, that includes Labour, and also it means communities. Now, we must look back historically, not so far back, I think a few months, and realise that the Labour government was actually wanted to impose the same cuts, but slower. Slower. That was the only difference, slower. Is that what we want? Is that what we're here for today? Of course not. We are against these cuts, because they're not necessary to be imposed on us. Put them on the bankers, put them on the really rich, and make sure they pay their taxes. That's one way around it, or helpful way around it. But you see, the other thing is this, we need an alternative policy. Now, that alternative policy is going to include money. It's going to include the resources to do that. Now, having said that, of course, it's people, ordinary people like us, who create the wealth of this nation, or any nation. But we don't necessarily own it. Now we need to take something back. Now we've already got two banks which are nationalised or partially nationalised, and it seems to me they should be used as the motor to help to regenerate our economy with jobs worthwhile and provide a decent life for people in the future. So I think that's the kind of story we need, and when Jack Dorman speaks after me, I hope he's going to say that Labour is going to come on our side in an open, public way and help us inside Parliament when we have demonstrations outside Parliament in order to assist our policy. Thank you.